Later today, President Trump is expected to unveil his long-awaited Middle East peace plan. He's expected to deliver remarks alongside Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. And the plan is meant to solve the decades-long conflict between the Israelis and the Palestinians. However, skepticism remains extremely high.
This comes as President Trump and Prime Minister Netanyahu both face political turmoil, with the president's impeachment trial heating up and the prime minister's corruption case escalating. But President Trump says he is still optimistic about the proposal.
It will be a suggestion between Israel and the Palestinians. It's the closest it's ever come, and we'll see what happens. We have the support of the Prime Minister. We have the support of the other parties. And we think we will ultimately have the support of the Palestinians, but we're going to see. And if we do, it'll be a tremendous tribute to everybody. And if we don't, life goes on.
For a closer look at this, let's bring in Dan Raviv. He's a Washington correspondent for I-24 News. So, Dan, I want to start with what the president just said at the end of his remarks there. He says that we've got, great buy-in from the prime minister and from perhaps even some of the other parties within Israel. And he says, though, we hope to have Palestinian buy-in. Where are the Palestinians in this? Before we even get to the details of the plan, have they been consulted? Are they involved in the negotiations? Has Jared Kushner met with the Palestinian Authority? I mean, what's going on that end?
It's been about 2.5 years of no contact between the Trump administration and the Palestinian Authority. People close to President Trump say that he gave the PA a chance. Mahmoud Abbas is the president of the Palestinian Authority, and Trump did meet with Abbas here in Washington, also in the West Bank in 2017. But apparently Trump felt that's a no-go, not leading anywhere. Abbas not willing to make the sacrifices or the compromises. And so then, Trump, as he pointed out yesterday, reluctantly, he said, cut off aid to the Palestinian Authority. So, no surprise, right now, today, the PA rejects the Trump peace plan, even though the PA has not seen it. They called a special meeting at their capital, in effect, in Ramallah in the West Bank. Even Hamas, which normally doesn't get along with the al-Fatah faction of the PA, Hamas is sending people from the Gaza Strip. So the Palestinians are trying a united front to say no to this plan because it's been cooked up by President Trump with the Israelis. That's the Palestinian view. The thing we got to point out is, what will the Arab governments do, like Saudi Arabia, the United Arab Emirates, Egypt, Jordan? If they like the Trump peace plan, then there'll be pressure on the Palestinians to actually think about it. We'll see.
So let's talk a little bit about what it might entail. I was talking to Vlad about this. I'm looking it up now. The Peace and Prosperity Workshop in June, where Jared Kushner had sort of unveiled what seemed like a portion of the plan. Palestinians were not present at that workshop or gathering. And it had to do with major investment in infrastructure, I think $50 billion, and kind of like a public-private partnership sort of thing. Do we expect the plan to include any of that?
Well, it probably will be more than mentioned today, because that was the economic part of Jared Kushner's peace plan. He, of course, is Trump's son-in-law, put in charge of this. And the Kushner team said in Bahrain, this isn't everything, and it's not going to happen unless there's a political agreement. And so even they themselves, while saying there could be $50 billion of investments to give the Palestinians a much better life, it had to do with the political plan. And then Kushner kept putting it off. With Israeli elections this past April and in September, they kept putting it off. But now President Trump has decided, I guess, the time is ripe.
So we put up a graphic here, and I guess the question that a lot of people will have as we anticipate this plan to be released later this afternoon, will it involve a two-state solution? What will be the capital of the Palestinian state if there is a two-state solution? What will be, how will the question of Jewish settlements be addressed? What are you hearing?
I liked all those points on the screen. Seems right, including one big point that you had there, which is it's going to favor Israel, right? President Trump favors Israel over the Palestinians. And members of the Kushner team have said this is about reality. That's the briefing they're giving us, that the reality is that Israel has held the West Bank, which used to be held by Jordan, for 52.5 years, since the Six-Day War of 1967. There are hundreds of thousands of Jewish settlers in the West Bank. This American proposal may well say that the settlers can stay there. That's why it'll seem a big political victory victory for Prime Minister Netanyahu. Wow, settlers are now legitimized. Again, this is only the opinion of the Trump administration. Will the Palestinians go for it? There are millions of Palestinians there. They want independent statehood. They want dignity. They want Jerusalem, at least part of it, to be their capital. So we wonder if that'll be in the plan. Again, the plan was cooked up by the Americans, who are clearly pro-Israel. Is there really something here that the Palestinians will like and will come to the negotiating table? As you said, there's a lot of skepticism.
Yeah, but I do like the point that you made, Dan, about to see what the reaction of the leaders in the Arab world, because the president has cultivated a relationship with the Saudis. He's cultivated a relationship with others in the region, in the UAE. And I wonder what will be the reaction. And, of course, Jordan.
Oh, we wonder, too. Jordan's a special case because it has a majority Palestinian population. So the king of Jordan, Abdullah, despite seeming like a moderate who's often here in the U.S., a lot of pressure from his Palestinian people. But Egypt, Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, they are the key. Will they embrace what the Trump administration is putting out today? Will they say, it sounds interesting, the Palestinians ought to talk about it? One other thing, members of the Kushner team have said that if the PA, the official, if you will, government of the Palestinians doesn't like it, then this plan goes over their head, trying to appeal to Palestinian people to demand this plan. They want prosperity and they want peace. That's what the White House is hoping for.
I think the other thing that is a little concerning, too, is that the other parties involved in this peace plan, their futures are uncertain. I mean, the president is facing impeachment, and you know, that's generally a foregone conclusion that he's not going to be removed, but he is facing an election right after that. And then there's Benjamin Netanyahu, who's facing corruption charges, and there's another looming election in Israel. You know, what's your take on all this kind of uncertainty looking forward?
You bet. Two parallel situations for two men who've been actually friends for many years. The Israeli elections coming up pretty soon, March 2nd, and today in the Israeli Knesset, the parliament, the Netanyahu people withdrew their request for immunity, which means that there will at some point be a trial of Benjamin Netanyahu on corruption, fraud, bribery charges. He realized he wasn't going to get his immunity, and so obviously Netanyahu's been looking for a distraction. Visiting the President of the United States is a great one. This is yesterday when they got together. President Trump, well, reach your own conclusion. Of course, he wants to look like he's doing the world's business and not paying too much attention to the impeachment trial. So at least this effort works for both of them.
All right.
Dan Raviv, thank you so much.
Okay.